Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to this news bulletin for this Monday, 15th June 2026. The pathologist who conducts autopsies in homicide cases, Dr. Lenders, testified that the death of Rimendi Jerry Mathiot at Montagne Posée prison in December 2024 was caused by gunshot wounds. Dr. Lenders provided details of the autopsy he performed on Mathiot's body before the Commission of Inquiry investigating the prison riot. According to Dr. Lenders, Mathiot sustained two gunshot wounds, one to the chest and another to the hip. He stated that the gunshot wound to the hip was the primary cause of death. Residents of the Plaisance elderly home received both medical care and normal day-to-day items thanks to a joint initiative by the Lions Club of Seychelles and crew members of the Indian naval ship INS Tarkash. The visit combined health screenings, food donations, and interactions with residents, bringing support and companionship to some of the country's senior citizens.
Residents of the Plaisance elderly home benefited from a day of care and support as crew members of the Indian naval ship INS Tarkash teamed up with the Lions Club of Seychelles to provide medical screenings and donate normal day-to-day food supplies. The initiative came after crew members of the visiting vessel expressed an interest in supporting the elderly home during their stay in Seychelles. The Lions Club has maintained a long-standing relationship with the elderly home, whereby in 2020 the organization conducted eye screenings for residents, an effort that is still remembered by many today. During the visit, residents were screened for common health conditions, including high blood pressure and diabetes. Coordinator for Vision Project Seychelles, Dharam Vishama, says such outreach programs play an important role in supporting the well-being of senior citizens.
When I was asked by Indian Navy to find a home for them to do this particular project for them, so I decided that this will be the home which is close to my heart, and I really wanted to revisit and basically to assess whether the residents, whether they have benefited from the little service which we did that time. And I'm happy to see some of the residents still are remembering that particular service we did.
Captain Rohit Mishra says the crew was pleased to contribute to the community during the ship's visit to Seychelles.
As we do for any naval ship which is going across Indian Ocean to visit the maritime neighbors, so we ensure that we provide medicines, we provide food things, we provide some stationery, we provide things which are required by the residents for their day-to-day use. This is a people-to-people connection between India and Seychelles, as we are coming together, government to government.
The crew of INS Tarkash is expected to return to Seychelles on the 27th of this month to take part in the national parade.
Children aged 0 to 7 now have a more suitable place to play and develop essential skills when they visit Paradis des Enfants. This follows the completion of renovation and refurbishment works carried out by the Roundtable Association on the facility's soft play area. The upgraded space was officially handed over to the board of Paradis des Enfants during a small ceremony held yesterday. The soft play area has now been divided into two separate sections, one designed for children aged 0 to 3 and another for children aged 4 to 7 years, ensuring a safer and more age-appropriate environment for play and learning. Funding for the renovation and refurbishment project was provided through proceeds raised by the Roundtable Association during the Regatta Sounds 2024 activities.
They generously pledged 250,000 Seychelles rupees towards the Paradis des Enfants. And that money itself specifically went towards refurbishment of what you see behind me, part of the games room area. It now allows that area to accommodate a larger group in terms of age of children. This kind of contribution for an area like the Paradis des Enfants, where we are heavily dependent on sponsorship and donation, it goes a long way to helping us as a board achieve the goal that we would like to achieve, to have a clean environment where it is welcoming to children, where they can play, make friends, create memories in a safe area.
The Department of Culture, Arts and Arts has organized the final workshop in a series focusing on the future of culture and the creative industries in Seychelles. The workshop was organized under the UNESCO International Fund for Cultural Diversity. During the workshop, Avril Joff presented a strategic roadmap outlining various approaches aimed at strengthening connections between people, communities, tourism, and culture.
The first is to have a really strong governance for culture based on a strong interministerial coordination, not only between tourism and culture, but also with industry, with employment, with social affairs, with foreign relations, because all of this impacts on how the cultural sector develops. The biggest issue for artists and creatives is a lack of space to not only produce and create their work, but showcase their work, to sell their work. So critical infrastructure needs to be identified and find solutions to that. From little children, we are developing arts disciplines, curricula from the education department in the schools, and for secondary and elementary schools, for people to be learning about the careers that are available in the cultural sector.
The Ministry of Environment, Climate, Energy and Natural Resources has held a workshop to examine how climate change affects different groups in society and how gender equality and social inclusion can be better integrated into climate action. The session, held at the Savoy Hotel in Beauvallon, follows an earlier workshop aimed at updating Seychelles' commitments under international climate agreements.
Representatives from the United Nations Development Programme, non-governmental organizations, the National Assembly, district administrators, and consultants took part in discussions on the social impacts of climate change, particularly on women and other vulnerable groups. UNDP Program Manager for Seychelles, Priti Sushil Nair, highlighted the importance of ensuring climate policies respond to the needs of all members of society.
How does climate change really impact them in terms of their, crop production, in terms of their topography, in terms of their ability to navigate those changes that we see? So questions around access to infrastructure, finance, technology, those are, are they equally advantaged as the men in farming? Maybe those are things that we need to consider or need to understand, because across the board we have anecdotal evidence, but we may not have the data necessarily.
The workshop also focused on validating gender-related reports linked to climate change impacts. Participants identified the gaps and explored ways to strengthen inclusivity in climate-related measures. Their recommendations will contribute to Seychelles' efforts under the Paris Agreement, ensuring that women, youth, persons with disabilities, and other vulnerable groups are considered in climate policies. Seychelles' updated climate commitments include accelerating the transition to renewable energy, promoting sustainable transport, improving waste management, and protecting marine and terrestrial ecosystems.
The Office of the President has announced the appointment of Mr. Rodney Bon as Chief Executive Officer of the Seychelles Parks and Gardens Authority and the reappointment of Ms. Lia Docteur as Deputy Chief Executive Officer, with both appointments taking effect on 1st June 2026. Mr. Bon holds a professional master's degree in fishery or aquaculture and a Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science from the University of Seychelles. He brings more than 18 years of experience in marine research, conservation, fisheries, and environmental management, most recently serving as head of marine research at the authority. Ms. Docteur, first appointed Deputy CEO in 2022, has extensive experience in financial management, governance, and administration, having previously held positions in government and the private sector. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of our news bulletin for now. We'll be back at 8 with more news and more details.